Hello, my name is Inxanity and welcome to the very first speed paint with inks. And today we're working on Claire from Genshin Impact. But this is one of many Genshin characters I've worked throughout this past week. And I decided to compile a bunch of speed paint and upload onto YouTube. If you guys are wondering what program I'm using Sprite. Sprite, it can be purchased from Steam or from the official site itself. It's very great to use, especially when you're using it for animations or just sprite work in general. It's great. It's great. But let's just talk around about how I started with this piece. And you may notice that I've started my character outlining this so that we kind of work backwards by adding the eyes first. I concentrate my character creation and proportion around the eyes and the head. And since Claire is a chibi in this one, I try to keep it really minimal with her details and her clothing designs. But what was most important about this piece was about her pose and how the way her composition is sort of complements her destructive personality, but yet innocent. And then moves forward from adding her arms and legs to the clothings. And working with the clothings, it's quite difficult when you're looking at a really detailed reference and trying to minimize that as pixelart. It's a lot more difficult than you think it would. Hence why I take a lot of time whenever I work on pixelart. It usually takes me around maybe 2 hours, tops about maybe 3-4 hours. With animation, it's much more, obviously. We got to think about the motions and whatnot. But since this is just static, all we got to really focus is the pose. As you can see here, I actually started adding the hair, and when I was working on this piece, I was quite reluctant to start on the hair because we had a bit of a meme going on my stream when my chat was chanting "Claire no hair, Claire no hair," so I didn't add her hair until much later within the piece, which I think this is around the half an hour mark, or maybe it was an hour, somewhere around there. But I finally was able to give her hair, and I added the shadings, and it looks a lot like Claire now. I am readjusting her face a little bit to match with her hair, just to even it out. And I thought her stubby feet was too stubby, so I extended it out just a little bit just here. I improvise a lot of my artworks, and I don't really plan what I want to do. I use a lot of reference to my artwork. I can't really come up with original ideas, although this whole concept is original. But I can't say for myself that I came up with this pose. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere, and I just decided to replicate that idea onto pen and paper. Keep in mind, this is one of my first Genshin artworks. The rest of it was more detailed in terms of effects. For Claire's, I didn't really have any idea. I might add some more detail later in the future, just to, when you compile them up, they will look nice instead of plain looking character and jumping in midair looking like she's about a Kobe. but I experimented a little bit here. Now they're looking like butt cheeks, but essentially her attack is actually a clover, so that's why I try to make it really even in terms of the symmetry from x-axis and y-axis. So there are a bunch of tools in Acemark which is really helpful to me to use in this sort of piece, and symmetry is one of them. We can also use a bit of glow onto the piece, so I've separated a layer of the same image of the clover and added a glow effect too to make it seem like it's bright. I tend to not use a lot of opacity in my artwork, my pixel art, but I thought this was appropriate to do that. I changed a bit of the coloring there. I've added vibrance to her clothing. I wasn't really a fan how dull, well not dull, but desaturated her clothing looked with the added effect. And then we're just off to the background to find a complementary color, and I went ahead and picked purple. It sticked out the most in my opinion, but I didn't really have any good ideas what kind of background I should add. Personally, I feel simple backgrounds work best for pixel art. Otherwise, adding too much detail towards the background would not complement well, I could say. And that's done. But yeah, this is the final product. If you guys really like this content to be more frequent, please let me know in the comments. Or if there's any questions that would like to be answered, I could answer that in the next speed paint. So once again, I'll plug in my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Inxanity. That's when I mostly be available, streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 PM Australian Eastern Standard. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful time, and I'll see you next time.